Hi, happy Thursday. It's Alisa from The Ripple Effect. Today's conversation is around the masculine and the feminine, specifically regarding romantic relationships. And it was brought up I had a conversation with a friend of mine last week, a really dear friend, and we always have these really deep, thought provoking conversations. And we were talking about romantic relationships between men and women. And I'm not trying to exclude any other group here, but it was specifically about the dynamic between a man and a woman romantically. So, anyway, the conversation started with how she and I were talking about how we really wanted to be of benefit to men and help them learn how to heal the wounds that they have received or felt throughout their lives that were causing them to potentially back off a bit in the male dominant pursuing type role. And she was saying, what happened to courting a woman? And I was like, yeah, that was such a lovely thing, a man courting a woman. And granted, things are so different these days. And we were talking about how it seems as though men have really backed off, understandably so, uh, because I think they get mixed signals from a lot of women. I'm not saying all. I'm being very general here because I definitely don't want to say it's for sure this way or for sure that way. But it just seems to be a trend, something I've picked up on, and she and I were discussing. So I just want to be very careful with what I say here because I'm not trying to imply this is every man or every woman, but just a theme. And, what happened to courting and men really leaning in and taking on that pursuer role. And I'm not talking about patriarch or dominance or controlling men or anything like that. I'm talking about that man, really wanting to court a woman and taking that time and energy to do so. And then we talked about, well, it's kind of like what was first, the chicken or the egg? Because women, I feel, and have taken on that role more. They've been, going into more of the workforce. They've been taking on leadership roles. They've been, really challenging themselves to, have equal pay and that kind of thing as their male counterparts. And as a result, I think that there's a lot of confusion out there. Who's going to pursue, who's not? You know, I've read a book. It was a book about roles with men and women, and I've actually read several books that talk whether it's two men in a relationship, two women, or a man and a woman. There's always a male energy and a female energy generally, and someone's typically a more dominant, if you will, and one is a more receptive. And so the question was around what do we do? What do we do now? If a woman is really wanting a man to be that pursuer and court her, but he doesn't know what to do. And we came up with how we feel like a lot of men and women just don't feel as safe with each other. And there's a lot of confusion, as I said. We don't know what to do. And I think a lot of men don't know what to do. And I think the intention is there to be great partners, and everybody, I think, intends to do their best. But I think there's a lot of mixed signals going on out there. So what is the answer? And what we came to was, it's really going to take both parties, the man and the woman, the male and the female energy, leaning in a little, and and even if there's fear there, um, allowing ourselves, even if we are, so to speak, risking our hearts or not sure how we're going to be received. And of course, there's that fear of rejection ultimately. But our stance was, if the masculine and the feminine both open their hearts and lean in a bit and have a deeper self-awareness and a deeper sense of empathy for the plight of the other person, and put ourselves out there, all of us put ourselves out there, and just be a little more brave and be a little less fearful. Because really, when you really boil it down, rejection isn't any kind of indication of our value or worth. It's really, the other person may not have resonated with us, but that doesn't mean that we don't have worth. And so, really, why would we be so afraid? And I'm saying that in speculation, thinking of myself too. Like, why would I or anyone really truly be afraid? Because we can't measure our value and worth based on someone else's perspective or opinion. So, there's that. So I'd love to hear in the comments any feedback you have. What is your experience with the opposite sex? Or uh, again, I'm trying to be like, because I don't want it to be just, oh, it's a man and a woman and a romantic relationship. Everybody has the right to, what they want and what they choose. But I really, really mean the masculine energy and the female energy, however we identify with ourselves. And what do we wish we had? What do we wish we had in those romantic relationships? And I just think it all boils down to positive intent, being kind, being very authentic and open, and and putting ourselves out there. Who cares if we get, quote, rejected? That's not really even real. And I think we all should just be have a little more moxie, and value ourselves, and just maybe go for it a little bit more. I don't know. So I just thought that was a really interesting topic. I'll probably talk about it again. I think it's just so important. And I never ever want to say that, oh, we need to go back to an old fashioned point of view where the man was this way and the woman was that way. I think it's really what works best for the couple. But ultimately, I think if we identify with a very feminine energy, like I do, we should honor that and let ourselves be that, if that's what resonates with us. And the masculine energy, let's honor that energy as well and let him have that, be that, honor each other. The differences and the contrasts are beautiful. They don't always, I mean, they can clash, right? But they're beautiful. So that's what I have to say for that, at least for now. So I wish all of you a fantastic, wonderful weekend. Thank you for listening. I know this was long. Love to hear what you think and how you feel about this, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Take care.